everyone, it's Julianne here for Honeybee Stamps and welcome back. I just can't seem to put down this pumpkin patch stamp set, so this week I'm bringing you another fall inspired card. The products I'm going to be using in my card today include the Fabulous Sentiment stamp set, the Hope the Hedgehog stamp set and coordinating dies, the pumpkin patch stamp set with the coordinating dies for that as well. I will also be using the Outdoor Scene Builder stencil set, the Grass Borders die set, and I am going to show you here the Hot Tropics paper pad, but I ended up not using that for my card today. So let's get started. To start out my fall inspired card for today, I stamped a bunch of images from both the Pumpkin Patch stamp set as well as the Hope the Hedgehog stamp set. I did stamp all of my images onto some Express It blending cardstock using some Memento Tuxedo black ink, so that way I could do some Copic coloring today. So I'm going to show you here how I created my cloud background. I used the double stitch square honey cuts to die cut out a piece of bristle smooth watercolor paper, and using the Outdoor Scene Builder stencil set, along with some Salty Ocean Distress Oxide ink, I'm going to be doing some quick and easy ink blending. I'm just going to line up my stencil onto my background panel, and I'm going to be ink blending in a circle motion using my blender brush until I have ink blended that entire row of clouds. And then I'm just going to flip my stencil to the right, and I'm going to do the same with the next row. I just love this cloud stencil that's included in this set because each side of the stencil has a different cloud arrangement, so it makes creating a cloud background like this super easy. So I'm just going to continue to flip my stencil and ink blend until I have my entire panel covered. Next, I used the Grass Border die cuts to die cut out a piece of green colored cardstock. And I also used the double stitch square honey cuts that I used earlier in order to add that stitch detail to the bottom and the sides of each of my grass borders. In order to add some dimension to my die cuts so they aren't so flat, I'm going to be doing some easy ink blending using some more of those Distress Oxide inks, but this time in Mode Lawn. And I'm just going to be adding that color to the top of each one of my die cuts. Now I do apologize, I colored in each of these images and thought that my camera was on, but I soon found out that it was not. So unfortunately I don't have the footage of any of my Copic coloring today, but I am going to have all of my marker colors on the screen right here. So please feel free to stop the video and write the colors down or even take a screenshot. Now I have used this pumpkin stamp set a few times recently where I do show you how I color them in. So I will have both of those videos linked at the end of this one if you are interested. So for the colors I used in this card today, on the hedgehog I used E25, E27, E59, E51, E53, E21, and finally E33. For her outfit and pom-poms, I used E97, YR27, E09, and E18. For the pumpkins, I used YR27, E09, and E18. And finally, for the leaves, I used YG91, YG93, YG95, YG97, R05, R08, R17, Y18, Y19, and finally Y35. And to cut out each one of my images today, I am going to be using their coordinating dies. With all of my images cut out, I'm now going to start working on the placement of where I'm going to want everything in my card. I'm going to start out by deciding where I want my grass borders. Once I have a good idea of how high I want them going up on my card, I'm then going to flip them over and adhere them together using some washi tape. And that's just going to make it easier for me. And then I'm just going to add some liquid adhesive behind them. And then I'm going to adhere both of them down to my background panel. Next, I'm going to start playing around with the placement of the rest of my images, deciding where I want to put all of my pumpkins, the leaves, and those two little acorns. My idea for this card was that I wanted Hope the Hedgehog to look like she was in a pumpkin patch and she was cheering on about it being fall because just like me, this is her favorite season as well. So once I have a good idea of where I'm going to want everything in my card, I'm then going to start adhering everything down into place. To start out, I'm going to be adhering the back two pumpkins in my scene since I want those to look as though they're in the background. So I'm going to be adhering both of those using some liquid adhesive, and I'm just going to be tucking those behind the back grass border so that way the grass is peeking out over them. Once I have both of those adhered, I'm also going to be adhering a leaf towards the stem of the right back pumpkin as well. And then I'm going to be adhering the pumpkin to the left of my scene, but this time I'm going to again be tucking that behind my grass border, but I'm going to be doing that on the front grass border. Adhering each of these pumpkins like this makes it look as though my scene has some depth, and it also makes it look as though there are multiple rows of pumpkins in this pumpkin patch. I'm going to be adhering the smallest pumpkin to the right front corner of my card, and then I'm just going to adhere the various leaves and acorns down as well. Now for all of my images up to this point, I am adhering them all down using some liquid adhesive. Next, I'm going to start adhering the cute additional images that I colored in as a part of my hedgehog, which include her two bows for her hair and her cute little pom-poms. I'm going to be adhering the bows with some more liquid adhesive, but to add some dimension to my card, I'm going to be adding some foam adhesive to the back of each one of those pom-poms, and I'm just going to be adhering those over her hands so that it looks like she's holding both of them. Now before I adhere Hope the Hedgehog down to my card, I'm going to put my background panel back into my MISTI, and I'm going to be stamping out my sentiment. I'm going to be using the sentiment Autumn Blessings from the Fabulous Sentiment stamp set. Once I know exactly where I want my sentiment to be, I'm then going to be stamping it down using some more of that Memento Tuxedo black ink. Now I am going to be stamping this sentiment a total of 3 times. That way I get a nice solid black impression that will stand out from my ink blended background. With my sentiment stamped out, the next step is I'm going to be adhering Hope the Hedgehog down to my card. I really wanted this card to be extra playful, so I decided to add an action wobbler to the back of her so that she would wobble about when the recipient opens this card. I thought that this was a really cute and easy accent to add to make this card even more playful. So once I get the backer off of the adhesive, I'm going to add the action wobbler to the back of my image, and then I'm going to remove the backer from the other side of the action wobbler, and I'm going to be adhering that side down to my background. I just love adding action wobblers. I think they make your card so fun and playful, and I really love how she just wobbles about in this pumpkin patch. Finally, to finish off this fall-inspired card, I'm going to be adhering a few of the gold confetti mix sequins that Honeybee Stamps offers throughout my background. And once I get all of those adhered down, that's going to complete this super playful fall celebration card. I just love how this card came out. I think it's oh so cute with that action wobbler. I'd love to know if you're already celebrating the fall season as well, and have you already started decorating? Let me know down in the comments if you're excited for fall. I want to thank you all so much for stopping by and spending some time with me. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe for even more card making ideas. If you're interested in any of the supplies I used today, they will all be listed and linked down below in the description box. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day and happy crafting!